All right, so guys, welcome back to NFT Talks podcast. I'm here with another amazing guest, somebody who's a co-founder of a popular PFP project. The project is called Deadfellaz, and her name is Betty. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's been an interesting start to the year. I mean, how's things been for you so far?
Like a crazy whirlwind. We tried to have some time off over Christmas and New Year, but we didn't get any time off because things kind of went turbo. I mean, we've been steadily growing for months in a really awesome way, but just the start of the year was like boom, just set off running, and then we've just been working really hard, and I got COVID, so working through COVID, it's just been crazy. It feels like a really long year, and it's like the start of February.
No, this I mean, between NFT time, like NFT years, it's like it's been 10 years, hasn't it? I mean, when did you guys actually launch Deadfellaz?
August, so it was Friday the 13th in August 2021. Yeah,
crazy. And the fact that and that's not a long time considering the world, but it seems, like you said, it seems like you've been around for so long and you guys have done so much in that short time. It's just, I just find it really bizarre. I've never seen anything like this in regards to whether you want to consider yourself as a project, a brand, grow so quickly.
It's wild, and it's like you say, the growth is just unprecedented across the industry. It's like breakneck speed. You've got to be very adaptive to adjust to that kind of speed, but it's really fun.
All right, cool. So let's go back. So in regards to before PFPs, and just to understand a bit about you, so the audience can hear a bit about your background and how you actually got to this point of producing and obviously the Deadfellaz.
Sure. So before Deadfellaz, I have worked in creative production, community building, marketing for years and years. It's basically what I've been doing in my adult life. I have, or prior to Deadfellaz, had, because we don't have time for it anymore, a creative production agency with my husband, Syke, who is the artist for Deadfellaz.
Okay.
Prior to that, he was leading international agencies as well. So we've just got this kind of great combination of skills that just happen to be perfect for running an NFT project, which is great. But prior to NFTs, we were just kind of trying to get by because the pandemic had hit the creative industry very hard, and I was doing a lot of events for the community, just all kinds of things. Everything we were doing kind of was affected by the pandemic, and prior to that we'd had some difficult times as well, with bushfires and illnesses and goodness knows what else. So NFTs, when we were introduced to them early last year, it just felt like this really, I don't know, hopeful, when
was it? When did the penny drop for you, Betty? When did it? Because I feel like this is what happened to me. Like I had a conversation about it, and I did a bit of research, and then it was like that penny drop moment, thinking, oh, okay, I understand this, and I see the potential. Okay, I need to get involved, and that's when I kind of dove in straight away. But how did it work for you?
Right away, because it was Syke was introduced to the space by some artists in a collective that he's been part of called Depthcore. They're a digital art collective. They've been going for 20 years now. And so they had been creating together for all of those years, and he had very good relationships and respected what they were saying, and a lot of them were like, you need to check this NFT stuff out. They were already selling their work and everything, and it was just seeing it happen and looking at what was happening. And I think that because we value internet culture and meme culture and all of that stuff, and the convergence with digital art, and because very early on it was like a lot of those historical memes and things were being minted, weren't they? So, and it just felt cool that you could put that into this, I don't know, it just felt amazing to me right away, and I was like, there is something here, this is it. I actually said this is it, and I reacted in a way that freaked Psych out. He was like, calm down. It was like, I felt like, that meme, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and the guy, I think it's Charlie, he's got his hand on the board and he's like explaining a conspiracy. I feel like that person since that moment with NFTs. But yeah,
no, I hear what you say, man. It does give you that, when, because the reason I feel that way, I can resonate what you're saying, because I feel that way because there's so much opportunity. I feel like, I mean, my age, I missed out on, I remember the internet, obviously that came along, didn't really do nothing there, had social media, didn't really take as much advantage of that as I could have. But this is like, that is it. This is it. Like, this is the moment I've been waiting for. And this is the moment for everybody to kind of, I look at it as a reset button. If you didn't do anything on the internet and you wanted to create a business now, you can do it now. Anything's possible.
I really think that being valued for creative endeavors, just for creativity's sake in many cases, and just for the sake of art, is and human expression, it's just like, it's so great. It just feels like this answer to a lot of the things that is going wrong. It feels like in this space people are actively building, and I'm very enthusiastic about that. So yeah, it's really cool. I love it.
Okay, so let's go into, obviously, get into August. You mentioned that you had a background in building communities. You was always present online, and that's what you've done. And then there's your husband. He was obviously an artist already, so you were well equipped, obviously, for creating a PFP project. Did you know this beforehand? Did you think, okay, look, we've got all these attributes, we can just create something and we will do it right? Was that the approach?
It was a funny thing. So I was watching all of this happen. Psych was immediately starting to mint his art. We couldn't even afford to like pay the fees for foundation to start off with. And we couldn't even afford to like buy into the projects that we wanted to buy into. So it was hard to engage at first in that sense. For me, I kind of sat back as well, and didn't actively engage as myself in the space for a little while, because I was a bit intimidated by the demographic. It felt like, really male dominated, and I felt like I didn't understand crypto enough. Like, it felt like that link between crypto and NFT tech, like I was just trying to form that myself as well. But then as soon as I got that understanding and I felt like comfortable, I just had to dive in, because I was just kind of, I felt like I was at the gate and the gate was closed, and I was like ready to bust in. Psych had been approached a few times to do some artwork on different projects, and I was like, we can do this, like I definitely can lead a project. I can definitely do this, and his art is just so amazing. And we work together and obviously live together and raise children together and all. So it's just really fun. Like, we put our heads together. Deadfellaz came real quick to me. The name and the idea and the vision and what it was gonna look like and represent.
From where does it come from? Like, where does that?
So many things, so many things. So we're horror fans anyway, and we had been reflecting on like how zombies are a bit of a staple in the whole pop culture of horror, like those zombie tropes, and how it's just kind of gone through the horror movie thing for a long time, and people are just obsessed with it. Like, it doesn't stop. No one's going to stop making zombie movies. But then that fascination with like things that are a bit spooky and a bit edgy, I think that we all kind of have a little bit. So working on that, and then bringing in influences from things that we're passionate about. So, like 90s animation and all different genres of music and fashion and different art styles, just all kinds of things. Like, we had the best time designing the collection while we were building it, because it was, listening to all our favorite music and like looking at all kinds of cool things. It was just really fun. And I think that that's why a lot of people can see themselves in it, because it just takes from so many different things.
Yeah, facts, man. I think you're pointing out some very valid, important points, especially when the comes to the whole PFP projects. I feel like a lot of projects are created like carbon copies of other projects, thinking they're going to do well, but you've just gone down the route of, look, this is what I enjoy. We're going to enjoy doing this, and there clearly is a community out there that will like it because you are part of that community. So you're creating that for the people. So that just makes sense. I always say that to people, like when people say, what should I do? I want to create a project. Do something you enjoy. Do something that you're going to connect with, because if you connect with it, someone else will, and they will come. But you just got to get yourself out there. So that the fact that you've done that, and the fact that you're saying that you're enjoying everything, and we'll talk about the roadmap and the things you've done since then. It's I can understand why you've done well. It just makes sense.
Yeah, I think that authenticity, like you can build something that you think other people are going to like to see, but like, where's the passion? And things get really hard here. The work is really, really intense. And, you know, there's that saying, like, I quit my 9 to 5 to work 24/7. Like that's like, it's really hard work. And people, I don't think, recognize that. So when the minting happens and everything, you know, then the real work starts, and it's so much. So if you're not passionate about it, where's it going to go, really, you know?
Yeah,
like it is actually a long-term thing. So, and yeah, like you said, if you want to see it in the world, other people definitely do, and the internet is this amazing thing that, you know, we can find and connect with other people like that. So
all right, so
yeah, I think it's a bit of a unifier.
Let's talk about the project then. Okay, so Deadfellaz 10,000, went with the 10,000
Yes.
unique NFTs. Tell me about you told me about regards to the concept and what was inspired from, but yeah, tell me about Deadfellaz. What have they got? What is it? What is Deadfellaz? What is the PFP project? What's the roadmap? Why will people join and want to collect these NFTs?
Well, I think that we play with the concept of digital identity and representation, inclusivity, and diversity in our collection. That's an important part of what I want to bring to the NFT space, especially with gender. So I think that, you know, most people will look at Deadfellaz and browse, you know, through OpenSea and have a little bit of a scroll. You're most likely going to find something that you connect with. And I think that that is a powerful thing. Like, I want to have that emotional connection made between people and the artwork, and facilitate that digital identity in the holders that we have. So as far as the roadmap, like working on things that people can really experience the Deadfellaz world in an immersive way, in the real world and in the metaverse. You know, we've got all kinds of different metaverse builds happening and have already happened. We've got our decentralized city, and we've hosted exclusive gigs for holders and all kinds of stuff. So
that's Dead Zone 13. That's right, yeah. Is that
correct? Yeah.
So tell me, yeah, like that's what I'm really interested in. Like, you've kind of gone. I know there's been a few events within the metaverses and whatnot, but what kind of events have you held? Is it like artists? Is it just like a meetup? What is it? Just a gallery? Like, what kind of events are you holding?
No, lots of different things. So we're lucky enough to have a really amazing dev team that are quite innovative, and they like to play around with what's possible. So we can have these crazy ideas and they can just build it, which is cool. For Decentraland, we've had Steve Aoki play an exclusive set for Halloween for holders. Crazy. We have the devs invented a POAP vending machine, so people could go in game and click and get a POAP, and then when they had a POAP, then they were dropped wearables that we have. Like, our 3D team are amazing, and they've been creating some really amazing wearables for people. So just all kinds of cool things like that. We've featured galleries, we've had merch launches. We had recently with the Hundreds and Adam Bomb Squad and Smileverse and Brain Vomit.
I didn't see that. Okay, so you dropped some merch. Okay, I missed that completely. All right, and so when did that happen?
It was like a flash. It was crazy. It was like oh god, my brain is fuzzy because of COVID, but it was last week or the week before, I'm fairly sure at this point. Wow. And the response was wild. Their website broke, and it was supposed to be open for a few days. They had to close it early because the response was just huge. So that was exciting. It was really cool. I love working with the Hundreds. They're a great brand and an amazing team.
Yeah, they've kind of adapted to the space, and I think they've taken the right approach, and they're very involved in the community, and you can tell that they are invested and they know what they're talking about. So, and they're obviously collaborating with people, which is, I think that's the kind of, should be the entrance for brands to come into the space. They should be collaborating with projects that are built from the community.
Yeah, definitely. That mutual value exchange is something that I think traditional brands don't really understand and have a hard time adjusting to, but they've done that. I mean, Bobby, who leads them, is like an incredible person. So I could say nothing but good things about them.
All right, so shouts out to Bobby, man. All right, so this you've also done some. Okay, so you've done something along the lines of is it Deadfellaz 20? So these tokens, like a liquidity pool. Is that right?
Yeah, so NFT 20 is a liquidity pool that we set up pretty early on. Yeah, and it's like you can swap token for token for liquidity. It's a cool tool for people to use.
Yeah, because I mean that's kind of mixing up the NFT space with the whole DeFi, and basically, so I just want to understand that a little bit more, because I really think that's interesting, because you've done that, like you said, did that quite early in your project, whereas a lot of projects will tend to say that they're going to do this further down the line. So, like, why did you take that route to do that now?
Well,
I mean, just
it was more. Yeah, so that in terms of providing a liquidity pool was just flexibility for the holders, less about, the money and tokens and that sort of thing. I think that creating a token for a project and, tokenizing and an economy around that, a financial economy around that, is a huge, huge, huge undertaking, and definitely not something that we would rush into immediately. So that's down the line, if ever. Like, our focus is really community and culture. Like, we are here to further culture and to play, as I said before, with digital identity, and see how we can expand into all of these different worlds, whether it be gaming or music, movies, that sort of thing. So yeah, but the liquidity pool was really just a flexibility thing for the community. I think a few other people have done it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. I think it makes. I mean, I'm not saying you're the only project that has done it, but I think like a lot of the projects tend to do it at a later stage. Unless you can tell me different.
So, no, I don't know, honestly. For us, it's just finding ways that we can facilitate our community in ways that they can experience this NFT space more efficiently, and I guess have a as good an experience as they can.
Okay. So speaking of community, you've had some celebrities dabbling into obviously the Deadfellaz project. One being Elijah Woods. How was that?
Yep. That was insane. I was trying to be calm. Like, I don't know. In my DMs, and I get a message, and I like throw my phone across the room, like very cool and calm in DMs, but very much freaking out in the real world. I'm more used to it now, but it's like it's a wild thing. I never thought that I was like a fangirl person, or a person that was like, like starstruck by celebrities, or the idea of celebrity in itself. But people that I really admire in the world that are doing really cool things, or that I have, appreciated their creative output, like someone like Elijah Woods. Like, I watched The Lord of the Rings as a kid and was obsessed with it, and like, a lot of the other stuff that he's put out, I've really enjoyed. That Dirk Gently show was just great. But to appreciate what he's doing, and then for him to appreciate what we're doing, is, when that happens, it's like crazy. I can't explain it. It's like Pussy Riot. When Pussy Riot like followed me, I was like, oh my goodness, that's like a feminist hero of the world, just a legendary icon, and there I am, like, chatting like it's no big deal. It's just Web3 is
crazy, isn't it?
crazy.
It is crazy. And I mean, the fact that, I mean, you've had some like really high profile people obviously invest into your project, but it does, as I always say, the NFT space brings different worlds together. It doesn't matter how, in regards to status of what you've achieved to what industry you're in. It's just everyone's on at this point is that I feel that everyone's on ground level and everyone's at that. Okay, then cool. I'm open to speaking to anybody that can bring any value to me. And that's really interesting because that doesn't really happen in the real world.
No, that's it. It's that dynamic shift. It's very, very strange to experience. It's like, yeah, it can be a bit like ungrounding. I think at first to experience all of that, because it's like, what's actually happening? You know, it almost all seems unbelievable. And to tell someone that's not in the industry or in the space, any of these things, it's like, it just sounds ridiculous, you know. But it's real. It's happening.
Is there anyone else?
Sorry?
Is there anyone else that you've kind of any other celebrities that kind of invested into it?
Oh gosh, loads of people. My community will listen to this interview and be screaming out names and be like, why aren't you saying them? Because I forget, there's a big list. I remember when Keith Grossman from Time magazine came into our Discord onto voice chat. Well, Psych and I were on voice chat, just chatting to people. We spend a lot of time just connecting with our community, and he just hopped into voice chat, and it was like 11 p.m. my time, and I was so like, what's going on? And he was just there, you know, saying how he liked Deadfellaz and this, that, and the other. And since then, it's just, I don't know, it's gone wild. Like Odell Beckham Jr. uses the Deadfellaz as his profile picture, and all of his friends bought up purple furs, and they're like, this purple fur crew. It's as you see the culture of Deadfellaz expanding across all different worlds, and it's very exciting.
Yeah, and you talked about this venture. Obviously, that's you're going into the entertainment industry. Then you've obviously got people are buying it within the sports industry. One thing that you've focused on, which you've talked about within the project, is obviously the music side of it.
Yes.
So, Song of the Dead, the competition. You had
that was wild. Yeah.
You had some you had some big judges to kind of review that. How did that go? And why did you want to do that? Was that because you're a fan of music and you thought it'd be really, really interesting for the community to do it? Like, what was your thoughts behind that? And then what was the outcome?
Yeah, so music as creative expression is really important to me. Psych is inspired by music, but music is like a very big part of my life. I was raised by a musician, and it's always been something that's really highly valued in my family. And and it served as a big inspiration for the collection. So we wanted, because we did have a visual art contest, and we did want to honor people that had, you know, different creative outputs. So we did the Songs of the Dead competition, and I thought we'd get like a couple of good entries, but I was just excited to hear what people would do. But then it was like all of these amazing songs. The judging took so long. I thought it would be this really easy thing to do, but it was not at all. Honestly, amazing songs, like songs that you would expect to just hear anywhere, and just so great. You know, they were even doing videos, and it was wild, so wild.
Do you see yourself putting on a Deadfellaz concert then eventually, since you've got so many people in the community who create music?
Absolutely. We have Defy Death is like our music / branch, I guess you could say, of Deadfellaz, and that's something that we're exploring in the background at the moment. We can't really say too much about that, but it's a big focus. Yeah.
All right, so we've talked a lot about obviously what you've done in regards to bringing value for the community. You've done lots of different things. Obviously, your expertise falls in line with that in building a community. So my question is going to ask you is like, which is the big question in the NFT space, is how do you build a community? Like, how do you get started? Okay, you've got a great idea, you've got a great concept, but how would you bring people together? What is?
I think you need to provide opportunity for emotional connection in the community around something that you're passionate about. So it can't just be, it's all about communication. So it can't just be like look at this picture, it's really cool, I really like it, and other people are going to really like it, like that might work. But in terms of getting people connected to what you're building, there has to be those emotional connections and those relationships formed, and that's always around mutual interests. So like when we were first starting out, we had the Discord and, you know, the Twitter, everything was just so new, and I was just in there every single day just talking to people about like movies, all the inspiration that we had in the collection. We were just talking passionately about that, as if, you know, I didn't care whether people were listening or not, but people were coming in and then they were giving their input too, and we were having these really funny conversations. We designed like a Discord survival game for people to you know, you just put in a command. It's well known now, but it wasn't back then. You just put in a command, and you either die like a hilarious zombie death that's like always very different, or you survive and win an NFT. And it was just really fun. People would come back constantly, always in the Discord for this game, and to chat to the people that they'd met. And there's people from that time still, like the OGs, all in the Discord. It's like their home. And it's just it's like a family. It's just so great.
Yeah, Discord is obviously seems to be like, and Discord and Twitter seems to be like obviously the place where the communities are built. But it's, I mean, you said obviously you got experience in it. Like somebody that hasn't got any experience at all, I can imagine it's a lot of work that is needed.
Absolutely. Look, I didn't. So before the NFT space, I didn't use Twitter. I did not. I've never been on Discord. So the community building skills were really, you know, me kind of just being who I am and trying to talk about what I love with people, and everything else came second. Like, you know, I had to learn Discord on the fly. The mods that we had helped a lot at the beginning with like teaching me. I'd be like, help, I still do. I actually don't like, I love Discord for the community, but there's a lot of issues. So I'm excited for us to kind of move into new spaces as well.
Okay, do you still think this is but obviously things have changed, things grow in the NFT space. Now, in regards to creating an NFT project now, and PFP project, I should say, what you think is different? Is there anything different? Is it the same route you take? Is it the same strategy you use, or is it a lot different now? Because even August, I think it picked up, didn't it? I mean, I remember back like when the Bored Apes came out, there was a project, maybe 2-3 projects a week. And then it got probably August, there was quite a few more projects. And by December, there was like, I don't know, like 50 to 100 a day or something like that. Probably, I'm just estimating, but it was ridiculous. So is it a saturated market? Can people still go down that route? And if so, what do they do?
I think that the cut through is bringing something very unique. And I think that through that, it's again going back to what you're passionate about. It's so transparent when you see these projects come out that are just kind of carbon copies of the next one and the next one, because it's like, where is actually the value? You know, what does this contribute to the culture and to the space if it's not from the heart of the creator in that unique space that only that person could bring? I think that's the cut through. It's such a different space now to what it was when we launched. Like the you know, when we launched, the gas wars were insane. Like that was the really big thing, you know, everyone would get wrecked. And we were really concerned because there was a lot of new people to the space in the Discord, like for this mint. So we did, I think, one of the first pre-sales, but we did it differently to how it's done now with the allow lists and stuff. We did like, it was just a Google Doc and people wrote their you know, wallet addresses and Twitter handles and sent ETH to a wallet. Like it was 0.025 and they could mint up to 5, I think it was. And then we like hand went through, like it was such a big job. We went through every one and airdropped them all. So we even paid for the gas. Like,
wow. You know, we have to respect that. You got to, guys, you got to realize that was that to do that's major for a project to do that in itself. And the fact that you guys have done that, because people are paying, like you said, people are paying thousands of dollars to get gas. And then some point, I don't know if it happened to it probably didn't happen in your project, but I've seen it happen on other projects, is where they would click for the transaction to go through, not get the NFT and still get charged gas.
So that did happen still, not a huge amount, but it still happened. But we refunded all of the people with the failed transactions, which obviously, again, not many projects do. It's not something that you should expect, because it's not the norm. It's just part of being in the NFT space. But we did it anyway, because we were kind of really focused on onboarding people and accessibility and all of that stuff. So that's how we went about it. Things are very different now. Like, I don't like all of the engagement games that come about. I feel like they create a divide where wealthy people can just kind of sit back and do whatever. Like, they can mint and they can get, they can afford the gas wars and they can afford the secondary, but it's like people that can't reach that are then like, put in this degrading position where they're forced to like grind for a spot at a chance at minting. And I don't agree with that at all. But then it's like, we just need creative solutions to come at this before we get this gas issue solved. So it's a funny spot right now, I think, the industry.
Yeah, it is. So, I mean, maybe everybody is going to be obviously minting on other chains. I mean, is that something that you guys have thought about, looking into different chains potentially further down the line, or is it just you're sticking?
I think
Ethereum one, isn't it? Ethereum.
Yeah, we're on Ethereum. I think exploring different chains and doing cross-chain endeavors is definitely something that we're going to focus on this year, because it's like, why not? And I think there's opportunity to be had, and I don't think that it's healthy or productive to be a complete maxi in anything. Like, it's good to be open-minded and to actively try and build in other spaces as well. So yeah
Okay. So also moving forward, obviously we talked about the metaverse. We can't forget to talk about immersive tech, which is the whole AR VR side of things. I see that you're already implementing that to the project. It was a collaboration making hoverboards for the guys.
Yeah, it was for Dadu Jetpacks. We collaborated with them. They're an amazing team. I absolutely love them. And it was really fun. So we've got these chibis. First of all, there's my PFP and Sykes have been created into these really cool, cute little chibi avatars. And that's going to be extended across the whole 10K for people to access in AR and in their games. And just seeing it in that context is so awesome. And I'm really excited to explore that more. I love it. The application of what you can do with a PFP project really does extend much further than just a PFP on Twitter.
Of course. What do you look forward to then on that side, even it isn't to do with your actual project, in regards to AR and VR with NFTs, that kind of collaborate that using that kind of tech with collaboration with NFTs?
Within our project, I think that I'm most excited about the reactive avatars and being able to use your digital identity regardless of where you are ever. Like, just that interoperability, like really working towards that. In terms of like the metaverse and AR in general, I want to see what it does to, I guess, social structures and that sort of thing. I think that the decentralization that comes through Web3 and the spaces that can be born from it, aside from these centralized governments and systems and structures that only serve a certain few, I'm quite keen to see how that combats a lot of the challenges that we've got. And for example, I think that decentralization kind of goes hand in hand with decolonization, and I'm just excited to see the impact of it and the scope of it. I think we were only really, it's like the tip of the iceberg we see.
Yeah. No, I agree. I totally agree with that. I totally agree. So moving on to working with big brands. I know we touched on it beforehand, but I know that, and obviously I didn't know you actually worked with the hundreds. That's quite recent. But you've also been involved with obviously the Twitter advert. Congratulations to that. Yeah, I see. Yeah. So I think that's really big. I mean, that's the first kind of advert that was made. I could say it's the first NFT advert I've ever seen, to be fair. I mean, that that itself is a moment in history. I haven't seen any PFP projects in adverts as an advert, apart from obviously Adidas, but still that was a bit different. So how did that all come about?
Yeah, I got a message one day, and it was a funny message to get because it was from Twitter.
Yeah. You did not think it was like a notification, like, oh, you need to update your account? You didn't delete the message?
I thought so. Yeah, I did. I thought so. And then just started talking to them, and this I was brought into the project, and it was just really fun and exciting, and because I knew that it was something that the community wanted and was waiting for, and how that rolled out and how it continues to develop is exciting. I think it's a cool step to see a Web2 platform like lean into validating Web3 like that and adopting some of the tech. And yeah, it was a cool thing to be a part of. I was very honored to be asked, so yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, there was some big projects on there. I mean, I think obviously the top projects were involved in that advert. I mean, so it's you're rubbing shoulders with the best. So
yeah.
And I think it's probably going to sell that as an NFT in the future, aren't they?
They are. That's like my catchphrase. I sound like it's hard to challenge people when they're like brainwashed. Like, yeah, maybe I am, but you know what? I'm happy. I don't like to be completely I think we've got to remain critical because that's how we build and that's how we make things better. But yeah, I am very much in love with this space.
All right. And so moving forward, let's talk about obviously other industries, because I think this year other industries are going to tap into, well, I think NFTs are going to tap into other industries and disrupt them. So I think you guys are kind of touched on the music. What did you do around that? Did you literally just create a song? Did you make that an NFT? Was there any experimentation around that? Did you play around it, like in regards to how you can?
We haven't explored that yet. So we've had people play in the metaverse, and that's kind of where we've pushed that so far. Yeah. But we have really big plans and things in motion that will be very exciting in terms of music and NFTs and different industries. Like a friend of ours, Domino, what he's doing with music NFTs is just wild and so cool, and converging different art forms into these, like, art pieces, I guess. And it's music that he creates with like dance that other people do or art that other people create.
Okay.
I think that's really awesome. I'm excited to see what comes from other people doing that, and because it's just kind of, it's gonna wreck the completely exploitative side of all of these industries, because the power is in the creative's hand.
Yeah.
And the funds are going to the creative, and I think a lot of industries are going to see huge changes, but it's just going to be to so much benefit of people. Like ethical supply chains for like the fashion industry, and I guess housing and travel and just all kinds of things. I see the application. It's like, when you're like you've been talking about something with a friend and all of a sudden you see it everywhere. That's kind of what I feel with NFTs right now. I'm like in the grocery store, like, this could be an NFT.
Pretty much. So what is there anything that you're really as a fan, you're really excited about? Like it could be music, it could be, like you said, you mentioned real estate, fashion. You could be thinking, I can't wait for things to come out in fashion and see what happens there. Personally, like, what was anything that you're really interested in?
Well, I wish I could have bought my house with with crypto, and I wish, like, that I had an NFT for like ownership of my house. I think that would be cool. I see that, we are, as like a group of humans, like we collect things and we love it, and we have these things that remind us of times in our life. Like, I've got train tickets and train stubs from when I was 14 years old. Like, and I remember what I was doing on those trips and like how much fun I was having, and, band tickets and all of that sort of stuff. Like, it the POAP side of things, as far as that, like, that's special. You can collect moments in your life. And and those shared experiences and stuff, like, yeah, it's,
I agree.
I'm excited for a lot of it.
I seen Charlie Cohen tweet, POAP is a new selfie, which is I found quite funny.
It really is. It's like a flex, like, I was here. And I think we all want to make our mark, and we all want to prove where we've been, and you know, impact and being seen and being heard. I think that this space and a lot of the stuff coming out of it presents opportunity for that for us all. So while connecting with other people and other humans, I think that from the outside this space can seem a bit like vapid and you know, just focused on money, and but it's really so powerful and connected to human emotion and connection. So I love that side of it.
Right, so friends, you've got plenty of friends in the space. Is there any projects that you recommend, no financial advice, that you think, I'll put it out there, like no financial advice, just anything that you collect and you think you're really a fan of, whether it's art, music, PFP project? Yeah, is there anything out there that you pick up yourself and like, I really love this?
Oh God, it's so hard because I love so many people and so many
no one shoot it down if you don't mention your name. Just I'm going to give you pick three. Just pick three people. So I'm just gonna pick
three that come to mind. So and it's semi-biased but also not. So a good friend of mine is an incredible photographer. She is like, her work is like fine art. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's like Renaissance portraiture created with a camera, like it's wild. Her name is Amy Woodward. And I see her at like Sotheby's, and you know, I think she's just she's going places. She's just amazing. She's also a mum friend.
She got work out now. Sorry, just to cut you.
She's got loads of work out. She's got a collection on OpenSea called Skin Story, and she's been working with, you know, various groups and DAOs, and she's been collected by lots of amazing people. It's just, I just feel like she's really going somewhere. And she's a friend of mine in the real world. And I told her about the NFT space when Deadfellaz sold out. We were at the park with our kids, and I was like, you know, you should really do this. And she didn't even hesitate. She just jumped right in, and she's doing amazing. Aside from that, Lorona, I could not go past. Lorona is arguably one of the first collectibles in the NFT space with her boys collection. She's just an amazing artist and an amazing person, and she's like, there's so much historical value is there because she was so early and her work is just so great. There's so many people. I don't know,
just one more.
What Farouk's building with Rug Radio is really important. I think the decentralization of media
that's interesting.
is very much, you know, the future, and I think bringing a lot of people together. There's just so many. I'm sorry to everyone that I haven't mentioned because I love
listen, we didn't plan to mention this. I just asked her on the spot. So guys, like, if her mind went blank, there's so many people she needs to mention. Just wanted three, that's it. And I'm sure there's plenty of other projects that you collect and you're a fan of, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of touch on this, just get an idea of the kind of things you're looking into and that you're excited about, really. So
I really like things that I like the art. That's a big thing. Like, if I really like the art, then I'll, you know, look further and get into it. But aside from that, I really like things that make statements and that mean something to the person. So like, I couldn't go past, again, like one of the artists that I collect personally and just I'm obsessed with is Cyber UU. What he does is like he puts himself into like European classical art, but in a contemporary way, and it just plays the idea of like gender, and it's just so powerful and amazing. And so I like those impactful. I like to feel something when I look at art, and so yeah.
Like you mentioned earlier on, it's the connection, isn't it? You like to feel connected with the piece.
That's
so
it
makes sense. And I think that should be the first way. I think should be a way if people are going to collect in the NFT space, rather than go the money approach, or just buy something you connect with. So regardless of what happens, you're still happy with what you've purchased.
That's it. Always. And I think that in that it's like it brings joy and yeah, you end up with like things that make you happy. I don't know, it might sound weird, but I just love it. valuing other creatives for their work that makes me feel something is big, and being empowered to do that because other people are supporting what we're doing. It's like a real nice economy.
Yeah, I agree. So this is a question that might throw you off. It throws off a lot of people, but I feel you'll be okay with it. If fair is, I normally ask is, what do you see the NFT space? How do you see your life with the NFTs, with everything involved, with every industry, NFTs applied to the real world, to the digital world, the metaverse, in the next say 10 years? So you wake up in the morning, what does your life look like? And what do you do?
Mate, I couldn't have told you that this would be my life 6 months ago.
Well, this is why you got to get creative. You got to
know.
get real creative. Like what? I mean, not so much like regards to what you do with Deadfellaz, but just something just like NFTs involved in your life. Like, is it going to be that you put on these AR glasses and you're buying your groceries NFT, like them kind of things? Like just talk through the morning.
So to be completely honest, I don't know that mass adoption is going to move that fast. I think that
interesting.
Yeah, I think that, you know, depending on who you ask, Web3 and the metaverse, it's going to be a different answer every time. And I don't think that we fully understand the technology to the extent of its applications just yet. I think that it will explode in terms of opportunity. But in terms of getting that into day-to-day use, like I don't know. I don't know. I do think about this often, like, where is this going to be? What's actually happening? Yeah. What do you think? How about I turn it around on you?
I think it will be in the next 10 years. The way things are going in less than a year.
So 10 years, yes. 5 years, maybe not.
Yeah, I think that, and not everybody doesn't have to be mass adoption, but there may be just people that use Web3 more than others. Like, not everyone uses. I mean, obviously, now they do social media and whatnot. But like, yeah, I would buy glasses with AR, and if I can tap into things and go to a meetings and buy my groceries and go shopping in my living room and go into a shop and purchase something, it will get delivered with me. I get the digital asset, and then they send me the physical asset at a later stage. Like, yeah, I feel like everything.
I think, I do agree with you there, and I think that it's just going to be different. Arguably, we already work and live in the metaverse. Like, we're always on our phones, we're always in this digital world. Like, how you picture that digital world while you're in it is a unique thing to think about. Like, you know, I often try and reflect on, like, what am I picturing while I'm like on Twitter or while I'm on Discord? It's a funny thing to be immersed in that, like how you imagine things when you're reading a book. So it's like, how do we then see that applied to the tech that's going to come out? I do see what you're saying, and I think that you're right. It'd just be an advancement, and an only slight one, to what we're doing anyway, you know, like these smartwatches and, you know, wearable tech that we've got already.
Yeah, it's already here. Like, I think this is going to just push it over the edge in regards to, because the big brands are involved. That's it. That's the reason why I think this, because when these, like, obviously you got the Facebook, whether they do it right or wrong, you've got these like Nike, you've got Adidas, these major brands that have mass followings and credibility in the real world. The minute they start doing something, people are just going to do it just because it's them, and then eventually, that's why I'm a bit skeptical about how things are going to go, because they're still going to lead the way in the real world. So it's important for people like yourself, people that have built communities, people that have built things within the NFT space with great intentions, to be involved and helping to guide the way. I
think so too. I think that we have to remain vigilant and to hold these brands that are entering the space to account, to not dilute the spirit of this space, and because I think it could be diluted like quite quickly if nobody bothered. But, you know, the passion of people that are in this space is so big that I think that, you know, there'll always be people guiding and building alongside those brands. And I do think it's integral to, you know, mass adoption, as we say, because of who the brands are. But then we're creating these new huge brands from this space that are like native to this industry as well. So that's exciting. That's going to be cool to see.
Yeah, and you're a part of that. I mean, regardless, whatever happens, you're a part of like this history, like one of the first within that year where everything boomed. So yeah, congratulations, and I'm excited to see what you guys are bringing in the future. I'm sure you're bringing so much. You've already brought so much in so much sort of time. So this year and the ongoing years, I can expect to see a lot, especially with the metaverse and the songs. I feel that I'm really interested to see what you guys are going to do there.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited as well. Like, obviously, I know what's happening. So
rubbing your hands like, yeah, I know.
I can be kind of smug on this side, like, yeah, that's. But yeah, I'm really excited too. Honestly, it's like I'm just every day more inspired, and every day more doors opening, and every day, getting to work with just amazing people, and it's like a dream.
Well, Bay, it's a pleasure speaking to you today, and thank you for taking the time out to come onto the podcast and just share your knowledge and share your perspective of the NFT space. Where can people find you or find out about the project?
You can go to Twitter. It's just at Deadfellaz. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm Betty_NFT. On Instagram. We're on Discord. All of our links are on our website as well, which is just deadfellaz.io.
Cool.
So yeah,
guys, I'll put the links below. Make sure you go check out the project. But yeah, thanks again. Thanks for everyone for listening. Everyone stay listening and stay blessed.